Have you ever noticed how talking to AI sometimes feels oddly human? Like it understands you, but also doesn't? We ask it questions. We trust its answers. Sometimes we even argue with it. But here's the tiny, unsettling thought. What if the way we react to AI says more about us than about the machine? Today, let's gently unpack the psychology of AI, not how it thinks, but how we think around it, and why understanding that can change how you use it, trust it, and relate to it. By the end of this video, you may see your own mind reflected back at you in a way that's surprisingly helpful and a little revealing. So, why do our brains treat lines of code like thinking beings? And what mental shortcut is quietly at work here? The shortcut your brain can't help taking. Here's the key idea. Your brain is a meaning-making machine. It's wired to look for intention, patterns, and agency, especially in things that respond to us. Psychologists call this anthropomorphism. It's the tendency to assign human thoughts, emotions, or intentions to non-human things. We do it with pets, with cars that won't start today, and now with AI. But AI feels different because it talks back. Your brain sees language, structure, and responsiveness and quietly fills in the blanks. Not because you're naive, but because evolution trained your mind to assume agency first and question later. Think of it like this. If you hear a rustle in the bushes, your brain assumes something's there before asking what. It's safer that way. AI triggers that same mental shortcut. AI isn't a mind. It's more like a mirror made of probabilities. It reflects patterns of human language without awareness, emotion, or intention. But your brain? It sees the reflection and instinctively looks for a face. So how does this show up in everyday life when we casually use AI without even noticing the psychology at play? Where this shows up in everyday life. This psychology doesn't live in textbooks. It shows up in tiny, ordinary moments. Let's look at a few. Example 1. It knows what I mean. You type a messy, half-formed question into AI, and it responds clearly, almost thoughtfully. You feel relief, maybe even appreciation. Your brain whispers, "Wow, it gets me." But what's really happening is pattern matching at scale, and your mind doing the emotional translation. Example 2. Arguing with an answer. You ask AI for advice. It gives you something that feels off. You push back, clarify, defend your point. Notice that reaction. We don't argue with calculators. We argue with things we subconsciously treat as agents. Example 3. Emotional comfort without realizing it. Some people use AI to think out loud, to vent, to organize feelings. It's not because AI understands emotions, it's because being responded to reduces cognitive and emotional load. Your brain relaxes when it's not alone in the thinking process. So what does all this reveal? Not about AI, but about our own needs, emotions, and mindset. What this quietly reveals about us. Here's the subtle truth. Our reactions to AI reveal how deeply we crave clarity, reflection, and being understood. Not emotionally understood, but cognitively understood. When AI responds smoothly, your brain feels, "Ah, my thoughts make sense." That feeling isn't about the machine, it's about relief from mental friction. We're not outsourcing thinking, we're easing the weight of holding everything in our heads alone. There's also something else happening. AI doesn't judge, it doesn't rush, it doesn't interrupt. And psychologically, that creates a sense of psychological safety. Your nervous system settles, your thoughts flow more freely. But here's the important balance. When we forget AI has no awareness, no values, no lived experience, we risk mistaking fluency for wisdom. Smooth language can feel like insight, but insight still requires human judgment. So, how do we work with AI wisely, using its strengths without handing over our thinking? Using AI without losing yourself. Understanding the psychology of AI isn't about fear, it's about intentional use. Here are a few gentle ways to work with AI without mistaking it for a mind. 1. Treat AI as a thinking tool, not a thinking authority. Use it to organize, reflect, and explore, but let you decide what matters. Ask, does this align with my values? Not just, does this sound smart? 2. Notice your emotional response. If an answer feels comforting, validating, or impressive, pause. That feeling is information. It tells you where your mind feels overloaded, uncertain, or seeking clarity. AI highlights those places. It doesn't resolve them for you. 3. Use it to see your own thinking more clearly. The real power of AI is not the output, it's the mirror. It shows you how you phrase questions, what you focus on, what you avoid. In that way, AI becomes a tool for self-understanding, not substitution. AI doesn't understand you, but it can help you understand yourself if you remember who's actually doing the thinking. And that awareness, that's where wisdom still lives. The thought you carry with you. The psychology of AI isn't really about machines getting smarter. It's about humans noticing themselves more clearly. Every time you interact with AI, you're watching your brain respond to clarity, to structure, to being answered. And once you see that, you don't just use AI differently, you think differently, more deliberately, more consciously, more humanly. That awareness is what turns technology from something that shapes you into something you shape.